Uja. Having some technical glitches today. Check 1, 2. Oh, maybe because this is... Uja. Having some technical difficulties right now. I'm just getting started. Or I'm still doing a sound check. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe it's because there's too many windows open. I'm just going to shut some of these. Oh my gosh. Uja, do it for tuning in. I'm having a little technical challenges right now. So I'm trying to fix it. Another program. Okay. It says I've got too many windows open, so let me just... Uja, do it for tuning in. Yeah. Having a few technical difficulties, so I'm just going to take 1 second to see if I can fix this situation. Let's try it again. Do it for tuning in. I've just got a little technical difficulty going on here. I'm just trying to get it resolved. Otherwise, check 1, 2. Check. Camera and mic not working. Okay, well. No source. Okay, well, it's not working today, YouTube. So we'll just have to go on without you. Okay. Alrighty then. Uja and Dua for joining me today for this edition of Ancient African Adorations. You know, I'm still concerned about why it's not working. Just try. Start. Yeah, I don't know. Just not working today. Okay, it's just not working today. All right. Carry on. Ancient African Adorations, where we are following Uben Nefer. We are following the Natarian calendar put out by the Temple of Amun. And these are holidays that most organizations that follow the Egyptian calendar, they observe these holidays. So it's not just limited to the group that I'm a member of. And today's holiday is for the transformation into the Bennu bird. I'm not sure if it's Bennu or Bennu, so you might hear me saying them both ways. And can you all hear me over there? Since I'm having difficulties. Yes, okay. And so I've got a few notes here about the Bennu bird. In the announcement post that I posted, it has some images of the Bennu bird. And the Bennu bird is where they say the idea of where the phoenix came from. Okay. The Bennu Bird of Transformation from TourEgypt.net. Related to the verb weben, meaning to rise, rise in brilliance or shine, as well as ben, the upmost sacred shrine, upmost sacred stone of Heliopolis. The Bennu describes a bird that was an important avian deity. Originally of solar associations, the Bennu bird came to be connected with three important gods consisting of Atum, Ra, and Asar. As an aspect of Atum, the Bennu bird was said to have flown over the waters of Nun before the original creation. According to this tradition, the bird came to rest on a rock from which its cry broke the primeval silence and thus determined what was and what was not to be in the unfolding of creation. So the holiday, the holy day we're observing today, is the transformation into a Bennu bird. So we're talking about what we are transforming or becoming. Like the sun god, the Bennu's own birth is attributed to self-generation. A mythological papyri of the 21st dynasty provides a vignette of a heart amulet and scarab beetle near to which stand the Bennu, which is described as, quote-unquote, the one who came into being by himself. It was believed to constantly rise, renewed just like the sun, and was called the Lord of Jubilees. The Bennu bird was said to each morning appear under the form of the rising sun and was supposed to shine upon the world from the top of the famous Persia tree in Heliopolis, wherein he renewed himself. This most likely led to the concept of its long life, later identifying it with the Greek phoenix, which also renewed itself from a fiery death like the sun rising at dawn. In fact, it may have been the prototype for the phoenix, and there may well be an etymological connection between the two birds' names, although certainly there are distinct differences between the myths surrounding them. Okay, and the Ben bird was often depicted with the following characteristics. Sometimes portrayed with two feathered crests, the bird was often shown sitting on a Ben stone symbolizing Ra. The Bennu bird has been portrayed sitting in a willow tree representing Asar. Due to associations with Asar, the Bennu bird appears in some cases with the Hotep crown. In other portrayals relating to its connections with Ra, this creature appeared with a sun disk. Meanings. The Bennu bird represented the rebirth of Asar and the overcoming of death, or egoism. It also portrayed the daily resurrection of the sun and the power of Ra. Its role in the creation and the existence of life was highly important, making it a symbol of creation. The Bennu bird was also a symbol of regeneration, much like the phoenix, said to die and reborn from the ashes. Okay. So that is a little bit about what the internet says about the Bennu bird. And of course, we dive into the teachings of Chatal Nectar on these broadcasts. So let's begin with our opening chants. I don't know why my YouTube thing didn't work today. That's okay. Okay, so we're going to start with a Hekau for Nefer, Keprada, and Asar. And be recited at the beginning of our studies from the Purdy Maru. Om Nefer, Keprada, Asar, Om. 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 can't put a sorrow. Can't put a sorrow. Oh, never 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 can't put a sorrow. Yes, Uja and Dua to the netters. The term Om, you're probably familiar with from the Eastern tradition. However, it has been found on the Laden papyrus. The symbol for Om, some squigglies, and it represents the universal name of the divine, even though we can't name the divine. There's a name for the divine. We have names that we call the divine. And Om is one of them. Nebuchadnezzar is the all-encompassing divinity, the all-embracing spirit who pervades all, is all, and is known by many names in other traditions. Kepra is the cosmic force that is the creator, that raises up the sun each day and is the creator. And then Ra is creation, and then Temura is the end of creation. And then Asar is Nebuchadnezzar in a human form that has a unfortunate experience with egoism and becomes the king of the netherworld, the universal soul, the eternal aspect of ourselves. When we're talking about the netters, we're actually talking about ourselves, our life and our life journey. Okay, and then since we are at sunrise, well, let's do this one too. To remind us that when we know Nebuchadnezzar, we know everything. Mabu Nemu Nemu Mabu Nemu Nemu. No matter what's going on, remain in the stillness. No matter what's going on, remain in the stillness. When you know Nebuchadnezzar, you know everything. 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 And that Heko is taken from the Temple of Aset, the wisdom of the Temple of Aset. And last but not least of our opening prayers, Dura kept Uben my ketchup on a test like ATM Kepara Kemana Teru Kake Uben K Blessed Mood K Katiem Suten Nateru Itty neck mood mood Adiem itty me Hotep to Ma'atata. To the cap, Uben in my kitchen bed. On a Tesla gate, ATM Capara. Capara came on the Kake Uben K, Passed Mood K. Katayam Suten Nataru. I get the translation. I know them, but I just don't like to make a mistake. Okay, yeah, these books are just, sometimes they're just not where I think they are. It's okay, I have it here. All right. Oh, still up there. Well, I don't know where it is. Beginning. Thought it was at the beginning. Oh, here it is. Okay. Adorations to Ra when he rises in horizon eastern. Homage to Ra, coming forth as Kepler. Kepler, creator of the gods and goddesses. Risingly, shiningly, lighting up their mother. Rising as Lord, King of the gods and goddesses. Your mother does an act of worship to you with both arms. Manu, the western horizon, receives thee in peace, and Ma'at embraces thee at the double season, perennially. So I'm reading from the Purdy Maru, compiled by Dr. Mwada Ashby. Okay. So let's begin with our official readings. Oh, I'm going to offer this song. So the experience of this transformation. Ucha, thank you so much for being here. I love this music too. Oh, oh, a little, what is that? I've got a frog in my throat. The weather has really changed. It's definitely fall. It's the middle of fall. And I'm actually having to turn the heater on. Okay. So a few years ago when I first moved to Chicago, I had the opportunity to perform with a band called Surah. Not Sun Ra, Surah. And it was an improv band. And they had this one tune that they would play. It wasn't like a rehearsal or arrangement, but it was a melody that the piano player played, and then we all played along. And so, of course, when COVID came, I haven't played with them. I think they're still playing, but they haven't called me back. But anyway, this one song stayed with me. So the journey to enlightenment, or of enlightenment, because the goal is to be enlightened at every moment, not just when our body dies, is compared to a boat, sailing a boat, and that all the Neters, gods and goddesses, and even we have a boat or a vehicle to take us across the ocean of consciousness. And so a song came to me, and lyrics came to me, so I'm going to see how they sound with this harp. I've never played it before. Played it with harp. Sailing, sailing, sailing to eternity, sailing me try the other one. Although this one's kind of minor. Tune it up. There's another harp I got in Egypt, in the Temple of Hedu, outside the Temple of Hedu. It's a lotus flower. As you can see up close, it's got camels, pyramids, and crocodiles. It's pretty amazing. There you go. Sailing, sailing, sailing to eternity. 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 All right. Yeah, I think that song is going to be reserved for the keyboard, where you can really have all the different modulations and overtones. I just want to offer it today because it's fitting. Okay. Now we're at volume 2 of the Purdum Haru. This one is understand the wisdom, the ancient Egyptian mystic path to enlightenment, flow through direct readings of the sacred signs and symbols with the trilineal deciphering method. So page 156, 157. I'm not going to offer the whole scripture in song. I was only going to focus on the one about the Bennu Bird. I'm going to read the little bit of it. Okay. Let's see, where should we drop in? Here we go. O Son, divinity of millions of existences, with expanding and all-encompassing body, as well as at the same time a person existing in the beloved land, Kemet, you are the giver of enlightened being, as a shining spirit in heaven, which is your dominion. And in the physical realm on earth, you provide spiritual victory in the cemetery, and the capacity to not remain as a dead body in the tomb, but rather the capacity to move, to travel as on a divine boat, sailing to the city of the pillars of Asar, the center of uprightness and verticality and awakened consciousness. You provide aspirants the capacity to do this, not in death, but as a living soul. Then by your grace, that living soul can return on a sailing trip back to your divine abode in Abydos as a resurrected phoenix with the ability to go in and come out without obstruction or hindrance, but rather in complete spiritual freedom. So that is the goal, right? Complete spiritual freedom. So the last session, if you recall, was about the temple of Asar and Abydos. And today we have a chant with reference to that. So I'm just I did the little part about sailing to eternity. And then this line, Kinti Abdu in Bennu Akpert an Stenar too. Try the sailing with this one again. Hotep. It's one of these days I'm going to have time to go back through all these recordings and organize all these beautiful music that just, I don't rehearse for these presentations. Ahead of time I pick out the verses and then I just pick up my instruments and sing. That's what I consider to be my gift. So let me just repeat the translation for that particular verse. That's verse 17. Then by your grace, that living soul can return on a sailing trip back to your divine abode in Abydos as a resurrected phoenix with the ability to go in and come out without obstruction or hindrance, but rather in complete spiritual freedom. So we're talking about after the body has died, we're able to continue living in eternity. We're sailing to eternity, through the consciousness of mind. Yes, positive energy for everyone. And if there's negative energy, we have the ability to transform it and transmute it, ascend it. We can walk away from it. That's one thing that I have really been learning this week, or this strength with the full moon energy. I had the intention of learning how to respond to egoism when I'm triggered, when it comes up in myself, when I can't believe I said that, or excuse me, or when it shows up in someone else and their egoism is coming at me. I spent many, many years defending myself, explaining myself, trying to get them to understand me, trying to explain how their opinion is not actually correct based on research, evidence, experience, etc. Getting into these endless dialogues and conversations where the other person is trying to convince me that they're right and I know that I'm right, and I don't have to be right, but sometimes you are right. And what I've learned is the way to respond to egoism is with silence. And it's nothing new. People have been telling me this for a while. It's just now I finally get it. Sage Amenemope definitely, opened up my eyes to this. But at the time, it just went through me. I didn't absorb it. So yes, who was it? Autumn Fox. Yes, the response to negativity is, you radiate so much positivity, you radiate so much light and awareness and consciousness that the negativity can't come in. I spent a lot of times trying to put up crystal grids and, meditative things and practices and amulets for protection. What I realized is the amulets are, like you say, to keep our vibrations high and positive, and the negativity is repelled. Negativity doesn't want any of this because I'm on it. Okay. Thankfully, I had wonderful teachers and friends and guides and counselors that helped me get to where I am right now with this awareness and understanding. And the 40-day prosperity plan also really works to keep, positive thoughts and affirmations. I'm having a little dryness. It's probably because the heater's on. Okay, the next reading is from the gloss of the actual Pert in Haru. Let's see, page 2, chapter 26. Okay. So first, I'm going to read it, and then I have the actual Kemetic words for it. So, I didn't write down the verse. Oh, chapter 26. Okay. Page 266. That's from the Pert in Haru. I have so many pages marked, it's hard to find them. Okay. I'm not going to read the entire gloss, but here is the English version of the chapter 26 on transformation into a Bennu bird. Making the transformation into a divine Bennu. Words to be said by Asar, and when you say Asar, you insert your name, because this is your journey, so I'm going to insert my Kemetic name. Words to be said by Asar Arit, who is Makadu in peace. Makadu is true of speech, spiritually victorious. I flew like the primeval gods and goddesses. Kepri is my name, the god Kepri. I grew in the form of plants. I am hidden like the tortoise. I am the substratum of all the gods and goddesses. I am yesterday of the 4 and the 7 serpent goddesses that came into being in the east. I am the one who is great at making light through his body. I am divine. I am that God manifesting as Set. Jehuti was among them as a discriminator, separator, distinguishing between that one, foremost in the city of Sekhem, with the spirits in Anu sailing among them. I come rising, I come glorified, I am powerful. I am divine being. I am divine among all the divinities. I am Kansu, conquering all. And then we have some notes here. The yesterday of the 4 represents manifestations of Ra C from the previous Ra from the previous chapter. I would think that would mean the 4 directions. The 7 serpents of creation, the 7 serpent goddesses, also the 7 psycho-spiritual energy centers related to the 7 cow goddesses. Those are what are commonly known as chakras, and in the Nigerian tradition, Sefik Bara or Aritus. And last but not least, Kansu is the son of the god Amun, known as the traveler, the movement, whereas his father is the immovable witnessing consciousness. So Amun is the witnessing consciousness, and Kansu is the traveler. Okay, let's see. Which one do we want to read? Okay, let's go with this one. Verses 10 through 15. Well, let's go with this one about Set, because people are like, why would you manifest as Set? That's verse 9. Here we have an impressive teaching related to the god Set. The initiate asserts the identity with Set. Now you have already learned in the Asarian resurrection myth, Set is the ego consciousness, the negative lower aspect of the personality. So how can one be Set and also the spirit? It must be understood that all-encompassing means exactly that, leaving nothing behind. The spirit is like the sun, shining on good people as well as the unrighteous. So too the spirit manifests as all. However, the spirit is not responsible for all. This is extremely important to understand. Individuals are responsible for their own fate, even while they are used bodies, thoughts, ideas, etc. that are composed of spirit, the noon. What one does with one's body, ego, and personality is based on one's level of wisdom. So the ignorant are the ones who hurt, commit violence, engage in passion, etc., based on spiritual ignorance. Even when one is degraded and doing negative actions, one is still part of the spirit. Just as Set was redeemed, even though he was a murderer, liar, rapist, thief, etc., so too any individual can be redeemed by the power of spiritual realization, which washes away the ignorance and arrogance of egoism that led one to the fall away from truth. Powerful. Okay. So then we have volume 2. So we're going to go back to this book. 59. I think this is the one. Yeah, okay. So that was an English version. And now here is the actual Kemetic terminology. And I think the translation is the same author. Let's see if it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. I mean, it's a little different. It's the same. Oh well. Here we go. I hope you're ready for this one. This is another one. I have no idea how it's going to sound or how it's going to come out. It's just coming from the heart. Arit Keparu, Natir and Bennu, Ujai and Asar says, Ani Makeru. I'm out, Kepararina. Him Keparare, and I am red. Shita, and I am Shita. Nuka Jua in the chair. Neb Nuka Sef Bin in my phone. Aratu Sefer. Abtien Keper in my bata. Inaut keperina in keperae in I am Shata in I am Shata Rami to Zenu, Imweb to Inkanti, Sekem Henahau, and Nenui Epeli to Zenu. To a Hotep. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're enjoying this music. It's just coming through. I don't have anything really to do with it except tune in and pick up the instruments. So let me see. I'm just going to go ahead and read this other translation because it's beautiful too. This scripture is about an action that, when acted, allows a transformation into a phoenix, the incarnation of Ra, the spirit to be burnt and then arise anew from the ashes as pure enlightened spirit. These words are to be spoken by the Asar, the initiate, the aspirant, who wants to discover Asar, the supreme divinity. So we think about what happened to Asar and what happens to us. We go through these kind of traumatic experiences or huge changes, and like the person was saying, negativity. And the purpose of life is so we go through these experiences and remember our divinity. According to the Natarian tradition, that is the reason we're here, is to become enlightened. We do a lot of things on the way, like on our boat, on the journey. And in the ocean of consciousness, all these waves come up, people, relationships, situation, things. But the goal is the destination is enlightenment. So we go through all these things, and like I said, our body can be torn into pieces, our soul can be torn into pieces, we can be attacked, we can be despised, we can be ignored, we can be conquered even. However, we can let go of all that, release it, burn it, offer it up to the fire. I've been writing out the things I want to let go of every morning and then putting it in the fire, burning it to release it. And so we could go through these and we renew from the ashes, like compost, as pure enlightened spirit. And so these words are to be spoken by us when we're on the journey to become one with Asar, the supreme divinity. I even learned that, well, I knew this before, but I didn't know. I knew that you could use the ashes to purify your space. Because in Kemet, they have this substance called natron, which contains ash, and use it to clean the floors. I learned recently that you can also make a powerful soap with ash, black soap, and some other ingredients. To, like, when you take your spiritual bath, you scrub first. So the ashes that we throw away when we burn incense or other things can be used for spiritual purposes. Okay, the initiate who wants to discover the supreme divinity, whose name is Ani, to be spiritually victorious by discovering spiritual enlightenment and unity of opposites, which dissolves duality, which brings about Hotep, that peace which manifests as the primeval nature of existence and from which creation arose, and from which I arose in the form of the god Kepra, the creator. As Kepra, I created creation, Ra, and I manifested as life flourishing as a flourishing vegetation that sustains all life. I was hidden in the vegetation as the tortoise hides in its shell. I am the effluent that flows from the essence of all gods and goddesses. I am the past of the four primeval divinities, that's the four directions, upon which creation is formed, Shu, Tef, Nut, Geb, and Nut. Four directions, this represents the four elements, the four cardinal spirits, four cardinal directions, four elements. Shu, Tef, Nut, Geb, and Nut. That's air, water, earth, and Nut is sky, I guess could be fire. I am also those seven serpent power goddesses who come into being in the east and whose life force rises with the rising of the sun. They are great and mighty goddesses. They shine in illuminated, enlightened men and women, and in the body of the ego personality, Lord Jehuti, the cosmic mind of Ra, the sustainer of creation. Concerning their purpose, it is about opening up the personality to be judged by the foremost being who resides in the place of power, together with the souls of the city of Ra, the sun, the spirit, who are Ra, Shu, and Tefnut, the divine trinity in the divine lake of Ra and the Duat region of creation. Concerning them, they come forth to me, rising as the life force moves up the spine in darkness and illumines at the crown, talking about the Kundalini, the Sekhem, of the head, upon reaching its heights, shining like the dawn, and I too am a glorified, enlightened, shining spirit. Because of this, I am an almighty, glorious, shining spirit. It is me, existing within the gods and goddesses, and I manifest as Khonsu, the divinity, with the power to oppose any and all inimical forces. Well, I'm glad I read this translation. So Khonsu is the moon god. Oh, Imima. There was a typo in that song. Imima. All these autocorrects. Imima. Within. And what was the other term? Well, that's good for now. Hopefully by this time next year I will have done more of my my studies of the Medu Neter, and we'll be able to just pick up this and read this without having to read Saber Mind's translations. But for now, I'm very grateful for the translations, and that's what I have for you today. This was the day when we honored our transformation into a Bennu Bird, into an enlightened spirit that rises from the ashes, from all of our, discourages, disappointments, failures. Well, there's no failures. Mistakes. Well, there's no mistakes. Adversities, and just all the trials and tribulations. We rise like the Bennu Bird, like the phoenix, from the ashes. The ashes represent purification. The Bennu Bird represents consciousness, enlightenment, resurrection, reawakening, and all the wonderful things we're going to experience today. YouTube fans, I'm really sorry. Sometimes this technology just doesn't work. I'm grateful that I have other recordings so that I can upload the replay. And for those of you on Instagram, this is going to be the last live stream of the Ancient African Adorations in Zuckerland. I'm leaving Zuckerland. I'm not going to delete my accounts. One of my close friends asked me to keep the page there because there's so much information. However, I'm logging out. I'm deleting the app. I will not be posting there anymore. I'm going to post a video explaining why I'm not posting there anymore. And I will be going live instead on Twitter, Melanated People, and Telegram. I'm going to be checking out people there in those communities. I'll still be on TikTok and YouTube when it's working. Okay, so you have a wonderful day of reawakening and resurrection. Remember that you are the Bennu Bird, and that no matter what's going on, you're going to remain in the stillness, and you're going to rise again, which is what my legal name, Techhnicsl, means. Rise again, rebirth, renewal, rejuvenation, resurrection. So just remember me, Techhnicsl, or remember my Kemetic name, Arit, offerings that help you rise again. Okay? Do a Hotep. And if you enjoyed this music, you can always leave a donation at Cash App or PayPal. Link will be in the replay in the bio. Peace and love, Hotep. Thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot to me. If you have any questions, reach out to me in the inbox. Much love and adorations to you.